So guys, I had some interest in how I sharpen my knife, or knives. We're all gardeners, aren't we? So we've all got as favourite pocket knife, or knife, whatever, you know, depending on what you're using it for at the time. But main thing about sharpening your knife is knowing what grind you've got. The Oppenel, for instance, that's a convex grind. It's curved, yeah. And for instance, Swiss Army knife, that's got a micro bevel on it, which means it comes down and then goes to a smaller point, yeah. Now, the knife I bought, Southpaw's, it's got a Scandi grind on it, which is quite an easy grind to sharpen. Now, as you can see, I've sharpened it, and as you can see, that coating's not on it. Reason being is that as a Scandi grind, they put the Scandi on it and then coated it, and then it didn't look like it was coated right up to end. This is the second time I've tried this video, by the way. I had some problems with editing software. I just couldn't get stuff to load up, and I've lost some stuff. But that's by the by. So what I've done is I've took that surface off it. People are asking me what I use. Because I've got chisels and stuff, I have to keep them sharp. Whatever I've got to keep sharp. Stones, always good. But you've got to maintain them and clean them, depending if you're using with water or oil. Depends what you clean them on. You can look up videos for that. And you have to maintain them and keeping them flat. Because if I was sharpening a chisel in that, a 12mm chisel, it's going to score it, and therefore it leaves a dip in it, and therefore if you go for a wider chisel next time, or whatever, it'll not be flat, because the stone below the grind, where the stone is. But another option, easy option, is wet and dry paper. It's cheap, you don't have to maintain it, and you can get like loads of various grits. I mean, that's a 1200, an 800 and a 600. Now, because this knife had that coating on it, I used the 1200. I used the 1200. I used the paper, and I went from 600, and then I went straight onto, well, 600, and then onto that stone, which is probably about a 1200, might be a little bit more than 1200, and then onto a strop. Stropping is the most important part about getting a knife sharp. I'll show you how to find your bevel, your angle, yeah. What I'm looking for when I sharpen it is to bring that edge up. The oil will lift up or dip, and you'll see a small shadow. And this is not ideal because I'll be on edge up desk, but you'd see a small shadow, and you'll see lots of videos on sharpening. You're cutting into it, yeah. You're keeping that exact same bevel and you're cutting into it, and as you're doing your end here, you're lifting back edge up because you're trying to keep that exact same bevel all the time. That keeps you right on edge. Same as this. This is a flat Scandi grind, so it's a lot easier to keep that bevel and find it. Once you're on that, you're really pretty good, you know, you're good to go. Again, you're cutting and keeping that bevel all the way to end, yeah. And again, your Swiss Army knife, that's a micro bevel, because again, you've got to know what angle. The most important thing is once you've got your angle, you keep your angle. You might have a little way of doing it. With this one, I'll tend to feel back at knife, and I can keep it at that same angle where it's on that. Let's see if I can get some oil up. Where it's on that exact bevel. The set cut in, you can go backwards and forwards as long as you're keeping your angle the same. This is the easiest way to do it, because, like I said, there's no maintenance. It works exactly the same. But you've got to have it on something flat, yeah. And what you would do is you can either spray it back this works better if it's glass. If you've got a flat surface like a piece of glass, and or whatever, you spray it back like that, it stops that from moving about. This is just water with a bit of soap in it. And exactly the same principle. Your finding edge works exactly the same. Water will rise up here and you'll lose any shadow. And that's your cheapest option. But you'll see people sharpen knives up to 5,000 grit, and in reality you don't need to go to 5,000 grit. Like I say, that's probably just over 1,000, 1,200, something like that. Yeah, maybe a bit more, maybe 1,500. But you don't need to go up to extremes. 1,200 on the paper, 1,200, yeah, on the wet and dry, and then a strop. Stropping compound. It's just polishing compound. You can get it at most places, hardware stores. You can order it online. It comes in various different colours, and it will polish your metal. There's also different grades in that. I've got blue and white here. You get green, but it's a polishing compound. That's, I don't know what, I wouldn't know what grade it is, but in general, polishing compounds is for getting mirror finishes. Yeah, that's the most important thing. Bit of leather stuck to a piece of board that's again flat. Now this piece of leather is not veg tan. People do say veg tan and use the rough side. This is actually a piece off a sofa with the rough side. Probably wants a clean now or redoing, but it's just a case of loading it up. Loading it up and then cleaning water off first. The compound is a wax, and then it's just again stropping it. Now once it is sharp and stropped, you should never really have to sharpen it again unless you do a dink in it or you're using it for heavy work, maybe digging it soil. Probably got better tools for digging it soil than a knife, but if that were to happen, or it's in a nail in a piece of wood or whatever you're doing with it, you should never really have to sharpen it unless you do something like that. And then all you're going to do is strop it. And in reality, if you strop it every so often, 20 times on each side, every time after you've used it even, you do 5 or 6 strops on each side, and that'll bring edge back to life. And that's how I keep my knives sharp. Same as chisels, whatever I use. I strop them before I'll sharpen them on a stone or on sandpaper. But this one was new, and it wasn't paper cutting sharp or hair popping sharp. Now it is. And because I lost, oops, I got my finger then. Because I lost that footage, I've got no hairs on my arms. One of it very little. But now it's hair popping sharp, yeah. And that's how I keep my knife sharpened. One thing, I will do a review on this knife. I haven't used it, but one thing I will say is the grind's good, but it wasn't totally even. But it was a $20 knife, a £20 knife. Probably can get it cheaper. The handle's great. It's great, nice, really nice, comfortable angle, and it's rubberized, so it's grippy. I didn't buy it because it had a coating on it. I bought it because it was a reasonable knife and it's carbon steel. So I prefer carbon steel. Holds an edge much longer and much better than, say, that. And again, that's also air popping, because I strop one, I'll strop them all at the same time. And there you go. I hope that's been helpful to somebody. But say, once you get it sharp to a, what I would say sharp, once you've got it, your angle right and you keep it right, just strop it. And if you strop it, you can get it down to air popping tight. It takes a bit of work at first. From start to finish, to get it to that, it took me about 15 minutes. In reality, 15 minutes, no more than that. So it's not perfectly shiny, it's not perfectly mirror finished, but it doesn't matter. There are some imperfections on the actual blade, as I said, just there on end where they overground it, but not a problem. That'll come out over time anyway, you know. And that's that. Nice to be nice.